think the result is really, really well. If you look at it critically, though there's a drop in their gross revenue from 325 to 308, but I think looking at other statistics, their cost of sales also dropped significantly by about 10 billion, and but for the administration expenses and for that alone and the finance cost, I think that is already on the high side. And the result will have been bizarre if not for the fact that there is a gain on the disposal of investment in that company, which is raking in about 15 billion. Otherwise, we'll have seen the company entering into a loss position. For that sale, I think they are coming up with a profit of about 8.4%. That's about 28% thereabout increment. I mean, about 38% thereabout increment in the result of last year compared to what we are.
Rotimi, but I'm sure you and I know that. Okay, so the cost of sales went down and revenue also went down almost by the same margin. Then you now see that in the profit. Does that look like something? Does it look like things are going well? Because if you don't grow your revenue, yet your cost of sales is down. Yes, we understand you are trying to tweak it so that you don't spend more money to sell your goods. That is quite good from the management point of view. But you're not growing the headline figure, which means you are not selling more products into the market. That's what it means.
Yeah, I think if you look at it in the consumer goods sector, I think it's all widespread. It's not limited to flour mill alone. If you look at the figures of Cadbury, the figures of Unilever, I think we are seeing the same thing. And it's even worse for Dangote flour mill, which is really, really very terrible. So I think for them, at least there are companies that have posted lower revenue and even almost the same level of cost of sales. But in their own case, it's quite different. But I think where we have problems with them is in the area of the administration expenses and also finance costs. Those two are not coming down at all. And I think these are things that they really need to work on. But going forward, I think there is not going to be another sale, another gain on disposal of investment subsequently. So they really need to work on these figures and bring down their cost of administration and finance.
All right. Thank you very much, Rotimi. We'll see you again tomorrow, Thursday, to talk to us a little bit more about the state of the market. Keep the happy mood there, and we hope things remain on the upside for our second trading day. Thank you very much. Rotimi Fakayijo, CEO at Enterprise Capital and trader on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. When we come back after the break, or for the next 45 minutes, we'll be talking about the energy market in Nigeria. It's not yet power to the people. That's how we put it. The cost of electricity is still there, and folks aren't getting enough supplies. We'll talk to one of the energy research traders from EcoBank. Jubril Karim will be on to us on the phone. And we have here in the house, live here in our global headquarters studios, the director in charge of membership, training and promotion at the LCCI. Bank says they are going to name you and shame you from the month of August if you are a chronic debtor in the banks. But the Chamber of Commerce says don't do it. Then finally on the program, on Tuesday next week, Mohammed Munir Guazo, the head of this SEC, sitting for the second quarter CMC meeting. They'll be talking about a 10-year capital market roadmap. What does this mean for you if you're investing in our market? That's next on the program. Stick around. the program going, folks. We're back on the clock about 17 minutes past the hour of 10 here in Nigeria. Welcome back to the program. President Muhammad Buhari says we all should be of good behavior and says that is the way to start revamping Nigeria. He's still in Washington on his 4-day official visit, talking to political, legislative people as well as the foreign businesses and investors. In case you don't know, he's there with a number of Nigeria's businessmen, and some of them you may not see in the pictures, but they are there being part of his entourage, especially from the oil and gas and the power sector. They are all there giving their backdoor support, as it were, to the president, this very historic meeting, to the world's #1 economy. One of the key issues being talked about is the power sector or the energy market. So let's see where we're starting off the current week. We'll get to Jubril Karim to talk to us on the phone from Ecobank. But just before that, Forte Oil, Mobil, Total, and Oando were the big boys of the market on Tuesday, the first trading day of the current week. Look at Forte Oil there, ramping up about 1%. On the back of about 108,000 units. Mobil Oil went up significantly, 3.33%, touching a new high of 155 per share. On the back of about 52,000 units of shares. Then you have MRS, sluggish there as usual, sticking in there at 49.66 on the back of just 28 units of shares. And then look at the big boy, Oando, 10.24%, the market leader in terms of the percentage uptrend in market price on the first trading day of the week. 1.5 million shares, about 10 million shares of Oando shares were sold when we finished off the market last Thursday, and we're back into the business this week. Oando is now still below 15 naira, 13.89. And Total, another oil retailer, another oil major in the retail business, downstream segment of the market that is. Total finished off 164.95 yesterday, up by 2.52%, trailing Forte Oil and its main rival, Mobil, at 3.33%. Seplat remain unchanged. That's the oil exploration company listed in the market, 319 naira per share, and corn oil of still there, unchanged, 40.85 on the back of 81,320 units of share. Look at the industry summary, as it were, 2.9% thereabout for the index return positive. Still year to date, still a negative 11.4% for the energy market here. Price to earnings, that's now around 8.2 compared to markets, broader markets, PER ratio, PER there, 9.5 times, and dividend yield at 3.1%. No earnings yet, quarterly or half-year numbers, earnings result from any of the oil trading companies, at least for now. Now let's talk about not yet power to the people. Electricity supply remain poor, even though we get in reports over the last week that the level of electricity generation is significantly higher, but Nigerians still suffer from unstable power supplies. Meanwhile, Justice Mohammed Idris, Federal High Court, will tomorrow in Lagos rule on an application brought before it by the electricity regulator, the NERC, to vacate an earlier order granted in favor of an applicant that the agency has no right to increase electricity tariff. Justice Mohammed Idris is the one who will take that decision tomorrow. That ruling is someone very closely watched. Don't forget, the NERC has set out new guidelines for the power distribution companies. We call them DISCOs here. Set out new guidelines for them if they want to increase electricity tariff and reclassify their customer status. That is an issue tomorrow, so watch that decision very closely. Meanwhile, President Buhari still has in his inbox the privatization of those